And I come out and I look up and there's just an ambulance and 2 guys waving at me. I'm like,
oh no. Hi everybody, welcome back. Today we have a very special guest with us, Juliastunts.
hello.
Welcome. Thank you so much for coming.
No, thank you so much for having me. Like, I'm so excited that you're doing this. It's so
Yay.
inspiring and I adore you so much. So I'm so excited to finally be here and be with you.
Thank you. I'm so excited. YouTube is new for me, so this is exciting for me.
Yay.
New adventure. You do so much. I don't even know how to intro you because you have like such an extensive list of skills. But just to start off kind of with how you got started in things in general, I know that you started off in stunts because you started doing cheerleading and dance and gymnastics and things like that growing up. So can you give us a little timeline of how you transitioned into stunts from doing those things?
Absolutely. So for stunts, yeah, exactly that. I did gymnastics, cheerleading, dance, horseback riding. Like, I just did every type of sport as a kid. So I was very athletic and agile in general. And then my like first job that kind of introduced me to like performance in general was the Power Rangers.
Right.
They had an audition that was for their live and televised team. So basically like photo shoots for their toys, or like up next, the Power Rangers, you know, that little bit that would be right before the episode plays.
Yeah.
Sometimes they would have the actual team in New Zealand shoot that. And sometimes they would have a team in the US do it. Make-A-Wish, like Macy's Thanksgiving parades, any type of like performance type thing, even like Good Morning America. So I knew they were holding auditions for that. And I was like, oh, maybe that's something that would be cool for me, because I was a big Power Ranger kid.
Really?
Huge, yes.
Did you have a favorite?
I mean, of course, Kimberly, like original Pink Power Ranger. How could you not? Like, I used to, that's probably like my first like cosplay or like Halloween costume would be her. Like, I really love the Power Rangers.
So cool.
So I decided to go to the audition and somehow booked the job with no performance experience.
And you were also injured, I read as well.
Yes, I actually was. I had just had ankle surgery. So through cheerleading, I had wrecked my ankle and did multiple seasons on it. And finally came to a place where I went to the doctor enough times and they were like, I think it's time to do surgery.
Push yourself.
And I was on 3 teams at the time too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And
that's crazy though. Being on 3 teams. I played soccer, I didn't do cheerleading, but I can only imagine the time sink of being on 3 teams of anything.
Yeah. It was a lot, because I did like a college team, I did an all-star team, and then I was actually going to be a Celtics cheerleader for basketball. They had a whole cheerleading team. But I made it through the first round, and then I went to my interview process for them with my cast and crutches, and they were like, this is not happening.
Oh, no.
And I was like, valid. But the doctor said I'm only going to be in a cast for like 2 months. I was down for like 6 months and had to quit all my teams.
Wow.
Yeah, so
but came back strong with the Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I went with like I was already somewhat healed. I still had like a small brace that I had on my ankle, like nothing crazy. I went to the Power Ranger audition, somehow booked it, and all the other Rangers were stunt performers. And this is a job they would do when they weren't on set or were between like performance jobs. So through talking to all of them, they're like, you're young and you're a female and like you really should consider this. There's not many women who can do what you do in the stunt performance community. Like, you should really consider this. So then I started training stunts, and I was in love with the performance aspect of it and fully dived into it.
Yeah. That's amazing. When did you start cosplaying then? Once stunt stuff started?
Yeah, so like I've been doing stunts for 10 years.
Okay.
And I've always loved anime and video games and just like anything pop culture in general. Like, that's why I did stunts, is because I loved that stuff so much. So my mom helped me make like a Link cosplay because she sews a lot, and she taught me how to sew, especially when I was younger. She used to make like my dresses when I was a kid and stuff. So I knew some sewing, and Power Rangers actually had us do New York Comic-Con multiple years in a row. That was my first experience cosplaying, was being hired by Bondi Saban to work at their booth with all the Rangers. So I was like immediately delved into the cosplay community and just so inspired being at New York Comic-Con and getting to see these amazing builds and like the crowd's reaction to seeing all the Power Rangers, which we were in their original suits. And people didn't even realize that.
Oh my gosh.
Which was really cool. And then, so for one of the New York Comic-Cons, I was like, Mom, will you make me a Link cosplay? And it was like such a bonding experience of like us figuring out how we're going to make his tunic and the hat and stuff like that. And it was just like a very minimal cosplay at the time. But after that, I was like, I really want to do this more. So that was my first experience. But actually getting in the cosplay community was during the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we move away from stunts too much, I know that your first like big break, I guess, was
I can tell you.
Don't tell me. Jessica Jones.
Yes, that's it. I was like, I'll tell you.
I know it. So you booked Jessica Jones. That was when you moved to New York, right? To do stunts full time.
So yeah, I moved to New York City first for stunts. And that was my first official project that I worked on. And specifically, they needed somebody who looked young enough to double young Jessica Jones. It's like flashback scenes she did. And some of the scenes I did actually got cut, which is like so devastating when you're a new stunt performer. You're like, Mom, Dad, come look at my scenes I did. And you're like, oh, they cut that one and that one.
Oh, man.
Okay. But it was still really fun. I did like, it was very minimal stunts. The stunt coordinator was having a hard time finding somebody who looked like a young teenager at the time. And since I was so new in stunts, I had that like younger look to me at the time. So yeah, he took a chance on me and hired me, and I was shocked. Amazing coordinator named Chris Place. And yeah, my first day on set was like the first time I actually felt like somewhere felt like home to me, if that makes sense. Like where I used to live growing up didn't really feel like home. New York City I loved, but it didn't really feel like home either. But being on set, I was like, kind of gave me a sense of purpose and belonging that I never experienced before. So yeah, that was like my first day on set. Another stunt performer had to do a 60-foot slide and come within inches to the back of a truck. So we're like driving, because that's like her, it's a scene where she becomes the superhero that she is. Basically, there's like a huge scene where her and her whole family like slam into the back of a truck. And then she wakes up in the hospital and suddenly has all these abilities. So the passengers in the car have to be stunt performers, because what if we actually hit it?
Right.
So it's really cool to see like a professional for the first time do car stunts. And, you know, you're just like a passenger there for the ride. And you're like, I have no control over what's happening right now. And I could die. But it was so much fun. And that was like my first day on set.
That's crazy. But that's, I mean, feeling fulfilled like that is awesome. And I know that you went on to do a bunch of other series as well. You have like 40 plus credits or something crazy.
Yeah,
right?
I think I now have like 60 plus, but all of them kind of started, Netflix Marvel started in New York City. So I kind of did a bunch of those in a row. Like I did The Punisher, Iron Fist, The Defenders. I think that's it. And so those shows were all in New York, so it kind of just like went on to the next one, had a day here and stuff like that. So yeah.
So you did Cobra Kai and you learned a ton of martial arts for Cobra Kai.
Yeah, so when I was doing my stunt training in New York, that was a huge aspect of my training that I was missing. Like I had gymnastics and cheerleading, so I knew how to flip. Something like high falls came very natural to me because it kind of felt like the second half of a basket toss.
Right, like cheerleading, gymnastics, all apply. Yeah.
Like when you do a basket toss, especially since in college I was on a co-ed team where guys were throwing me up in the air, a high fall just kind of felt like the second half. And I was like, oh, I don't have to go up and then down. I just have to go down. This is so easy.
Yeah.
So that came really naturally to me. But when it came to like fighting, I didn't have that background yet. And fighting, especially for film, is actually a lot like dancing. So it's like you come and punch me and I block, so I'm responding to your movement and we're kind of dancing together. So it was a huge aspect that I was missing, especially with explosivity. Like dance is very fluid, but punching and being aggressive was not my repertoire. So I actually started doing martial arts. I did some TKD, and then I moved on to Jeet Kune Do, which is like Bruce Lee style of martial arts. And so I did that for years in New York, which actually set me up for the perfect position for Cobra Kai. So I moved down to Atlanta, Georgia. That's just like the natural cadence of like what moved me in the film industry. Like I started in New York. A lot of stuff in New York left. Especially like Netflix, Marvel, like I said. And New York only had like cop shows for the most part for a little bit. It was like Law and Order, Blacklist, Blue Bloods. And those shows need thugs and police officers. And I don't look like either of those things.
Right.
And like coordinators would call me and be like, I'm going to try to put you in for a day, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And it was always that the director would be like, that looks like a little female who like couldn't punch me, and I'm like, yeah, but I could.
But I could. You don't even know.
Yeah. So I heard about Atlanta and how so much was filming there. Like Marvel was there and like all these shows and stuff like that. So I decided to move down, and one of the first jobs I got was season 2 of Cobra Kai. And I remember like my first day on set, I was stunt doubling Samantha LaRusso, who is Karate Kid's daughter. And it was actually a really random scene. She has a bully, and they're at like a country club or like a community pool. And she blames the bully for like stealing her mom's wallet. And she pushes her into a dessert table. So my job was to fall back into a dessert table and like get as much dessert all over my body. But there's a camera behind me, and they're like, hey, the pudding bowl, this is really important. The pudding bowl has to go forward. If it falls back, it's going to go onto camera. So you have to make sure that it falls on you and not back at camera. And I was like, okay. So I'm like looking at the table. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get my elbow in the pudding bowl so that it like flops on top of me and like kind of direct it. And the table needed to break too.
Okay.
So there was a lot going on. And they're like, we can't reset this because you're going to be covered.
Right.
So this is a one and done. I'm like,
okay.
Don't mess this up. And it ended up going perfectly. They were so happy. And I was like making jokes on set. Like I went up to my actress because it was the first time meeting her too. And I was like, oh, like we're doing post-fall scene. You need to be covered in dessert. Like you need to hug me so I can like get all this on you. And she walks towards me. She's like, oh, okay. And I was like, no, I'm kidding. Like they're going to just put it on you. And everyone was like dying laughing. Like, oh my God, like you almost got her. And wardrobe's like, don't do that.
Please, no.
Yeah, so that was like one of my first jobs in Atlanta. And then they were happy with me and realized I had like a martial arts background, that they're like, oh, will you join us for the rest of the season? And I was like, will I? Of course.
Yeah.
So it was a cool job.
And then not only that, but you ended up getting nominated for an Emmy for doing Cobra Kai.
Yeah, season 3, we had a really big finale fight scene. And we had specifically the same bully that she's had for the entire show. At the end of season 3, she has a bow staff versus nunchuck scene. So we had a really big fight scene for that, and I was shocked. It was the first year ever that Stunts had a category at the Emmys. We had a stunt performance category, Before, there's always been a category for stunt coordinators, but not performers. So that was the first year ever. So I was very shocked to be one of the first ever to be nominated. And it was a really amazing experience, and especially for Cobra Kai, which I really feel like I put so much heart and soul into. So
yeah, I was going to ask, like, it was outstanding stunt performance, right, that you got nominated for. Just for the people, including me, who don't know anything about stunt world, like what would go into a performance like that? Like what would you consider like an outstanding stunt performance?
I would say a lot of prep work and also a lot of experience in whatever field you're getting nominated for. So, you know, mine was for a weapons fight scene. So, of course, I need to know the weapon and I needed to know how to fight. But I would say there's amazing scenes that should get nominated, you know, maybe like a car chase scene where you have explosions and near hit misses and stuff like that. So something like that I could see getting nominated, or, you know, if it takes like a huge fire burn and falling off a bridge and doing a high fall into a lake or something would be an outstanding performance. And we actually do have an award ceremony for stunt performance called the Taurus Awards, and that's specifically for stunts, and we even have categories per each thing.
Okay.
So it would be like best driving, best female stunt performer, best high work for like high falls or something, or specialty stunt, that would be like firework. Or fight scene, of course. So it's really cool that we also have that, but to finally be recognized by one of the big award ceremonies like the Emmys was a huge feat and a huge win for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so validating, I'm sure, because a lot of your work isn't, you don't, like, people don't know that it's you, and people don't really know what goes into it, right?
Exactly.
As I was reading about some of the articles that you've done and some of the like stunts that you've done in general, I didn't realize that you were teaching the actors how to do it as well as also performing it. And there's like so much that goes into it.
Yeah. There's a lot behind the scenes that people don't get to see, you know, so when someone has a stunt double, for some reason, the people outside of the industry think it's like some sort of cop-out, like, what, you couldn't do the stunts?
Right.
And it's not that whatsoever. Like, we let the actors do as much as they feel comfortable with doing, and it really just depends on the actor or actress as well, too. Like, some people are like, hey, I don't want to do stunts if it's to age or capabilities, or if they just don't want to. That's totally fine. And other people are like, I want to do as much as we can. And sometimes production gives us the time to work and train that actor, but sometimes there's just not time. So sometimes it's really throw the stunt double in. But like, you know, Legacies, which is a Vampire Diaries spinoff, I did all 4 seasons of that, and I was the lead stunt double. And Danielle Rose Russell was the actress I was stunt doubling, and she was amazing, came from a dance background, came to every single rehearsal, and we were able to get her to do so much because she was so physically inclined and learned really quick. So someone like her, she really could do a lot of the stunts because they gave us the time to work with her and she had the capability. But other shows, you know, like I once stunt doubled Carol Kane. You know, she's an older woman and she's amazing, and she was so excited to see me, and she was just getting thrown over someone's shoulder and she's like screaming at the guy's back, like, put me down. And then she gets like plopped down, and because of age, she obviously can't do something like that. And she was like, oh no, honey, like, you do that. Thank you so much for being here. And I was like, yeah, thank you so much. And she like took photos with me and stuff. So it really just depends on the job and how long we have them for.
Right. And I also read that if the actor or actress gets injured, it delays production, which is horrible for everybody, right?
Yeah. So productions have insurance, and as a stunt coordinator, because sometimes I coordinate, you have to tell insurance what's happening for that stunt. If the actor's doing it, if you're hiring a stunt double, and the insurance plan will go up in money if you want the actor to do it because of that. So there are certain instances, like I know in Cowboy Bebop, the lead actor broke his ankle or something, and they just shut production down for weeks or months. And something like that, that's millions of dollars, because you think of the entire cast and crew, and some of those actors also are only hired for a certain amount of time and then go on to another project. So it becomes a huge issue and delay. So that's why stunt performers' entire industry exists, is because we are expendable and the actors are not. So if it's too dangerous, of course, they're not going to let the actor do it.
Right.
They're not going to do like crazy car stuff or wire gags or get set on fire. It has to be a trained professional who's been doing this for years or decades.
Yeah, because they're trained to do it safely.
Exactly.
Are there any like specific stunts that you remember that were like crazy or scary, or like any crazy injuries that happened?
In general, there are a lot of times I go to work and I'm like, I'm a little scared right now, but I do it anyways. And I know that I'm a trained professional and I have a trained team. I know one time I did a 50-foot high fall off a building, and it was a building in New York. It was 11 degrees outside, but it was set in the fall. So I didn't have like a winter jacket on. I had fall clothing on. Okay. So just like jeans, a tank top, and like a sweater. And it was a girl offing herself.
I see.
So it was like accepting and jumping off a building. And it was a very old building from like I think it said it was like built in 1890. You're like, oh, great.
Wow.
And I had to get on the actual roof of this building, and it was icy, and I climbed like a ladder after a ladder. So I really got to feel every single foot of that 50 feet. I was like climbing up there, and I was like,
higher, getting colder.
Yeah, I'm getting colder, yeah. I'm like, am I shaking because of the cold or because this is really scary? I do not know. And for something like that, I've always wanted to do it. I could do 50 feet. I had confidence in myself, but still, you're on the top of a building.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Yeah.
Looking down, about to jump off, and you can't look scared because she's like accepting her fate kind of thing. And I did it twice, and I was happy to do it the second time. Like, got the nerves out the first time, got to do it again. But it was even crazier because when I got to set, they opened the van door. And I come out and I look up and there's just an ambulance and 2 guys waving at me. I'm like,
oh no.
And they're like, hey, we're the EMTs for today, just in case. And I'm like, oh, I love that safety, but also like not the 2 people I want waving at me the second I get to work. Are you kidding me? So it was
really puts the danger in perspective.
Yeah, definitely. You're like, oh, okay, I'm in danger. So that was definitely a day at work that I was realizing the impact and how scary this can be. And there's just been other plenty of jobs, like big wire gags, that I've kind of secretly called my mom being like, hi, I'm just on my way to work. But actually, I'm like trying to calm down and reminding myself, like, you're a professional and your team's professional and you trust them and you got this.
Yeah.
But not really telling my mom that, like not being like, oh, I have a really scary job that I'm doing today. And I just need to hear my mother's voice. Yeah. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm just on my way to work. And she's like, oh, amazing. Like, I'm doing this and that. I'm like, okay, calming the nerves. So there are a lot of jobs like that. But it's such a rewarding feeling when you do something you're terrified of and then you finish it, and at the end of the day everyone's like clapping on set and you feel like you did something you were truly scared of and you made it home and you're safe and in one piece, and it's so rewarding.
Yeah, and you feel uncomfortable and then there's growth because of that, right?
Yeah.
Does the scariness ever go away then, or is it always kind of just like an ebb and flow?
I think it's an ebb and flow. There's just certain jobs or certain stunts that I've done that are scarier than others. Like now, if someone calls me for a fight scene, I'm usually never scared of that. But every time somebody calls for a really big wire gag or something very specialty, you're like, okay, here we go again, back into the fire, into the fray.
Right. How do you think that these like skills have transitioned you into cosplay? Because I know that like dance obviously is great for like TikTok and all of the short form video content, but then you also know how to like actually fight. So like these characters, like the Attack on Titan characters and all of the characters that you do, you can actually perform some of these moves.
Yeah, I think it really transitions just performance in general, or like stage performance or camera awareness in general. But stunts is a very interesting department because we really kind of do all the other departments as well too. What people don't see is our pre-vis, which is a pre-visual. It's something that we shoot before we shoot the scene that then we give to production to be like, hey, this is your entire fight scene. Okay. Because in a script, it'll be like, fight scene ensues, bad guy loses or something. And then you have to work with the director or the production team to be like, hey, like, what does that involve for you? And, you know, the director's like, oh, we really want to feel that, you know, the bad guy's winning the entire time. And then the good guy remembers this move that he learned earlier in the show, and then he uses that move, and that's how he wins. And those are beats that we have now. Well, now we have to make all the beats in between. So we make a previs. We literally shoot it shot for shot, how we think production should shoot it on the day with all the choreo. And then we hand it to the director, and we're like, hey, these are the shots you'll do, or the general concept of the fight scene, like whatever they need. And when we do that, we're doing lighting, we're doing cameras, we're editing. Sometimes you're adding effects in, like, especially if it's a superhero movie, you may be adding Spider-Man's, you know, Spider-Man's webs or like other characters' things and stuff like that. And in doing that, like, you're learning every aspect of film. So for me, I feel like I really know camera angles or how to shoot something, especially if it's a skit or something. I already have it in my head, the edit.
Yeah, that's amazing for content.
Yeah.
That's so good for content.
So I felt content in general, I feel like I really eased into, because I was like, oh, I already know how to do most of this stuff. It's just making it vertical instead of horizontal.
Right. I can imagine that's like incredibly helpful. Like, you know, shot for shot, lighting and all of that stuff. That's like you have the skeleton of a ton of ideas already.
So I felt like it really helped me with making content creation. When it came to cosplay, that was definitely the new feat for me, was getting into like how to sew, how to do foam work. Like, no one realizes how multifaceted you are to be a cosplayer.
Totally. Definitely know that. Now we're in the wheelhouse of things I do know about. So then you did the Power Rangers, and you said it was your first con that you ever went to?
So I would say, it was New York Comic Con for my first job with the Power Rangers, was my first one that I went to. And then I would just go to like a local con every now and then, but I always wanted to cosplay more and never really fully delved into it. Pandemic hits, and working in film is really funny because like I love anime and video games, but most people don't. And a lot of people who even work in film don't even care about what we're working on.
I know, it's crazy.
You just kind of like book the job and you're like, is this a like Karate Kid show? And I'm like, no, this is Cobra Kai. You have no idea how important this is. So I'm usually like a fan of certain things that I work on, and other people aren't. So I found I didn't really have a lot of friends who loved the things as much as I do.
Right.
So during the pandemic, entire film industry shuts down. We have no idea when it's coming back. And they were super strict when they did come back. Like, we had to COVID test every single day.
Right.
It was really insane. Both of my shows that I was on had, like, everyone was trying to come back, but all the studios were booked out. Actors were like, oh, I'm going back to my other show because this movie that we were doing during the pandemic shut down, and now I can't even go do that movie. So now I have to go back to my normal show, which was a situation that happened to me. I was stunt doubling on a movie that I was supposed to do like months on. Pandemic hits, movie comes back, my actress is unavailable. And, you know, the stunt coordinator calls me, he's like, I'm so sorry, like, we have to hire a different actress. So I'm hoping she's the same size and we can just keep using you. Calls me back 2 days later. Hey, they hired a new actress. We have to reshoot all of her scenes. And she's 5'10".
Oh, no.
Which I'm not 5'10". He's like, I'm so sorry, but I can't hire you back. And you're like, oh, no, okay.
Yeah.
So after months of the pandemic and no stunt work, I kind of wanted to pay homage to the things that got me through the pandemic, which was anime and K-pop.
Okay.
So Blackpink had like a new album come out, or like a new song, How You Like That. And they were opening up like, hey, you can use their song on YouTube and like make videos to it. Best video gets some sort of like reward or something. I completely missed that deadline. But I still wanted to do the project, and it kind of got me out of my pandemic funk. Like, I had something to work on. So I learned the entire dance to the entire song, and I made 11 cosplays and shot 11 different like scenes in these cosplays, and did transitions into each cosplay and each location. And so it became like my little passion project. I'd never touched a wig before. I literally cried over making a Sailor Moon wig.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon wigs are really, really hard. That's crazy.
I literally just had to throw it away because it was like, you know, your first wig.
Yeah.
Like, it was,
honestly, yeah.
There was no saving it. There was a lot of super glue in there. It was not surviving and couldn't be used for anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just kind of fully delved into it. I was like, let me just head dive into cosplay. This is something I've always wanted to do. I finally have the time. And this will be my introduction to like content creation. And I don't know why I did this. It was just like pandemic baby, like, let me just do this project. So I shot it, did all the cosplays, and then sent it out into the universe. And after that, I was like, what else do I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone kept telling me like, oh, put it on TikTok. It'll do so well. So I put it up on TikTok. It did pretty good, I would say, for like someone posting on TikTok for the first time.
Yeah.
And then I just started posting videos, and then suddenly it went viral. And now I'm here.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because I feel like all of us, our first cosplays were the most crazy undertakings of all time. It happens to all of us, I feel.
Yeah.
But That's incredible. And so were you always into like the nerdy things, or did you pick it up during the pandemic, or you just had more time during the pandemic?
I just had more time during the pandemic. I always liked pop culture stuff like Power Rangers, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like I was reminiscing and looking at photos from when I was in school, and my backpack was a turtle shell and it had all the TMNT headbands in it.
Stop.
And if someone was like, oh my God, I love your Ninja Turtle backpack, I'd be like, oh, do you want to be Leonardo or do you want to be Michelangelo?
Oh
like,
my God,
make them put the masks
yeah.
on. And I had the realization that probably some people just thought that I liked turtles.
Yeah, that's, amazing. I love that so much. Do you have a favorite Ninja Turtle then?
Yeah, I think I'm like a big Leonardo fan.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so.
How come?
I don't know, he's like leader and just like, I think he's the one that I aspire to be like, not that I'm like him, if that makes sense.
You admire him?
Yeah, I just admire him the most.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I've always been kind of nerdy, always played video games. Like Ocarina of Time was the first video game I ever beat by myself. So I've always been nerdy on that aspect, but anime came later for me.
Okay.
Yeah, and like Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was my first anime I had ever seen.
Wow.
Loved it and immediately like deep dived, like only watched anime.
Yeah. When was that around?
Like, I think I was 20, I want to say. So like I wasn't like a kid, you know, in middle school, like sneaking downstairs at 2 a.m. to go watch Inuyasha. Like I wish.
Right.
But I had no idea back then. It was really like, I think I saw a meme from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood of, it was the Dragon Ball Z fusion. But it was,
God. Oh no. Yep, I know
Nina
exactly
and
what
her
you
dog.
mean. Yep.
And I saw all the like comments underneath this image being yeah, I know, just instantly cry. Of all these people like so upset about this image. I'm like, why are they so upset? And I messaged a friend who I knew watched anime and had commented on it. And I was like, why is everyone so upset? And he was like, go watch it. Like watch your first 10 episodes and tell me what you think. It's like, okay.
And that one's episode 3, right?
It's like 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And by that, immediately after all that, I was hooked. Yeah. Watched like all 84, 86 episodes. And I was like, okay, what else can I watch? I'm addicted.
Yeah. What did you watch next, out of curiosity?
I think I watched Death Note. And then...
So did I.
Yep.
We had the same trajectory.
And then I remember like watching Tokyo Ghoul and I was like, this is too much for me.
Same, actually. This is crazy. Yes, I didn't make it past season 1.
Yeah, me neither. I was like, I don't even think I got through like 3 or 4 episodes of it. I was like, okay, this is like too much for me. Which I did later on go back to and then loved the first season of. And then I think My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan were right around then too, back to back, and then just deep dived into everything else. Finally, like went back and watched Naruto, and I think I'm on like still in the 500s of One Piece, stuff like that. Oh my gosh,
yeah, that's a lot even,
yeah.
I feel.
Seriously, because like what other show has 500 episodes even to even watch it?
Right. So, I don't even, is that like halfway? How many episodes is One Piece now? I don't even know.
Less than halfway.
Less than halfway. That's crazy. How did you start? Oh, so you liked Attack on Titan, obviously. I need to know how you first started cosplaying Hange, because that, like, I feel is your persona. I like your original, like, if somebody thinks about Sasha now, I feel like they think about you. So
yeah,
how did that come about?
So my anime K-pop video came out, and then I think that was like in October, and then I started kind of doing TikToks, and I started just using all the cosplays I had made to make content and like learning how to make TikToks. And I was doing pretty good. Like in 2 months, I was at like 38,000 followers, and I was so excited. Yeah. And I was literally like, oh, like what do I do to celebrate 40,000? Like I'm so excited. And season 3 of Attack on Titan was coming out. And I'd only cosplayed Mikasa, who I adore and love, like one of my favorite characters. And people kept commenting on my videos being like, you should cosplay Hange.
Hange. I said Sasha, but I realized I meant Hange. Yeah.
And everyone's like, you really should cosplay Hange. And I was like, okay, sure. Like, I don't see it I don't see it.
Right.
And so there was a really popular dance at the time, which is the one I'm known for. And I saw like a bunch of people on the internet do it. And I hadn't really like dabbled into other dancing. So I was like, oh, let me learn this like little dance trend and do it. And so I cosplayed Hange for the first time. And I remember like putting my hair up and putting the glasses on. I was like, wow, wait, I love this character. And I do feel a lot like Hange. And I did the dance and I thought nothing of it. I posted on the internet and I remember like checking a few hours later and I was like, why does it have 500,000 views in a few hours? And I woke up the next morning, I was like, why does it have 1.5 million views? And it just like skyrocketed. And I was so excited to hit 40,000 followers. And suddenly I was at 100,000 and 150 and 200.
Yeah.
And so I just kept posting more Attack on Titan content and all of it was just hitting numbers. And it felt so natural to me that I loved Attack on Titan. And I just knew how to add it to content creation. Like they just, every single time I saw a trend, I was like, I know how to Attack on Titan this.
Yeah.
I know how to mesh this into this trend. And so season 3 came out at the same time too. Like that's why I posted that video. And I felt like there was a whole group of cosplayers who were doing AOT and we all were going viral at the same time. And like suddenly I was like the IRL Hange. There was like an IRL Annie and John and like all the characters. And we were suddenly like all duetting each other's videos. And it was like this whole community and the internet was just eating it up too. So it was a really crazy time. And I've always loved Attack on Titan. So this felt very fitting for me. And it started everything. Like I went from doing this for funsies in hopes to just find a community and friends who loved anime and video games as much as I do, especially like other females or AFAB people, and suddenly becoming a content creator and going viral and realizing I had an entire secondary job that I was not planning for. Like I was just a stunt performer who wanted to make silly videos on the internet, and then suddenly I had 2 full-time jobs.
Right. Would you say that you said that there's a lot of stunt people that didn't love all of the like gaming and anime and like nerdy things that you did, and cosplay I find is where a lot of us find that community. It seems like we all sort of have the same backstory of lore where we're all like, nobody likes this stuff, we're weird, and then we find cosplay and then we find friends and then it becomes bigger and sort of snowballs just from like wanting that community and getting so excited about like finding other people who like the same thing as you. When you started doing that during the pandemic and it started like snowballing and you had such like a huge explosion of like followers and views, did you like did that heal like a part of your like inner child? Because it did for me, for sure.
Yes, like insane amount, because I never really felt like I had a core group of friends through school or anything. Like I don't really like talk to anybody from high school anymore or anything because I didn't know who I was back then, you know, and I didn't have anime back then either. I like literally just went to cheerleading practice every day. So finding anime is something I really loved in video games. And then finding people who loved it as much as you do. Like, I just want to listen to anybody who has a major hyper focus. Like, if you're into farming or gardening and tell me all about it, I'm so excited. I'm going to ask questions. And so I found anime and video games, like you find people like that. Like you'll talk to a cosplayer who's like, yeah, I knit all my cosplays. And I'm like, oh my God, tell me all about that. Or someone's like, yeah, I make paper wigs. And you're like, where do you think of that? What products are you using? Oh my God, like it's just suddenly so cool. So I love in the anime community, you're just like, or video game community, you know, you're finally talking to other people. You're like, oh yeah, like I love this show. And suddenly you have so much in common with that person. So it's been very healing. And like I suddenly had a group of friends that all like love and adore each other and are very supportive. And we all like the same things. And I've never had that before. So it's still like every con or every friend I make is still very healing.
Yeah, I completely agree. That's kind of what got me hooked to cosplay in the first place. Is I love Dragon Ball Z. And when I did a Dragon Ball Z cosplay for the very first time, like went to a con and every Dragon Ball Z fan was so stoked. Like immediately I was like, my people, these are my people. And I got so excited that they were so excited that I was like, what else can I make?
What was like your first cosplay that got recognition for you? Where it wasn't just like, wow, that's a really cool Hange cosplay instead of being like, wow, oh my God, Danielle is cosplaying this character?
It's hard to say because I started cosplaying in 2014 or something.
Yeah.
So like back in the day, it feels like I feel like an old lady sometimes, like before time, like back in my day, we didn't have Amazon wigs. Like we had to like wait for, I don't know, 2 weeks to order something on eBay and hope that it looked like the photo kind of kind of thing. I think the internet wasn't really the same back then.
Absolutely not. No, especially the cosplay community or how we cosplay has drastically changed within the last 10 years, just between like products that are accessible, like you said, or just like, you know, now we have entire sites that make really good cosplays that you can alter or just wear as is and it looks great. Like it has changed it a lot. But back then, the only way to cosplay a character is if you fully made it.
Yeah. Yes, totally. Yeah. And there was a lot of stigma back then as well. There was a lot of like, if you don't make every piece of every part of, if you even buy the pants, like it's like a like pearl clutching moment. Right? And now it's so different, which I love. Like I always thought that was, I don't know, so opposite of the whole point of cosplay, which is the community part of.
We're just a bunch of
friendship.
Nerds.
Yeah, just who dress it up.
Inuyasha and want to cosplay from it. Like that's really it. So to be like gatekeeping it in any way, I'm like, there's only so many of us. Let us all do it. Let us buy the Amazon wig and cosplay and be like, I'm a cosplayer if you want to. Or fully make it head to toe, even hand dye the fabric. Amazing. I love that.
Totally. Absolutely. Completely agree. But I think the first cosplay I did that got like recognition was Velma, which is crazy because it wasn't a cosplay that I made. It was like stuff I altered that I got at like the mall or something because we had to do that then. And I think I was just working with a photographer in Orlando that did really cool like graphic design, photo manipulation stuff. So he like put me against like a spooky wall with like cobwebs, like edited in a whole background, which just it turned out like a really cool photo. And it ended up being, I think, the combination of the really cool photo and the costume that like did well on the internet. That was probably the first thing.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that you're like so used to making all these crazy cosplays and you're like a t-shirt and a skirt, wig and some glasses, and you guys are going crazy for it.
It's always the way it works. Does that happen with you on like social media a lot where you put a ton of work into something and it will do well, but then the thing that like blows up is the thing that you like just did offhandedly?
I mean, I think it's the same with content creation, period. I have spent days of like making sets and figuring out the shots and the cinematography and like making a cool cosplay and all that and like shooting this amazing thing that took, you know, days to shoot and days to edit, this whole passion project, and it'll get nothing. And then I make like a feral 8-second video, one take of something silly, and it will be like millions of views. So that's why I always tell people like it really doesn't matter. Do whatever makes you happy. Some stuff's gonna pop off, some won't, but as long as you're proud of what you're making and feel passionate about it and you're proud of it, then who gives a flying shit of whatever those views are. Like every video I look at, I'm like, haha, that's a funny moment, or this made me happy, or you know what, I'm really proud of this. And so I don't really care about the views anymore.
I've always found, I'm curious if you feel the same, that there is always a nice balance between like what does well and what you're really excited about. And as long as you're like hitting both of those things, you don't really experience the burnout of focusing on one or the other.
No, I agree. I totally agree. Like, I think at the end of the day, if you let views make you happy, you're never truly going to be happy because it's out of your control. The algorithm is going to do what you want. You can be shadow banned. Who knows? And as long as you're happy and feel creative and passionate about what you're making, then you'll feel some sort of satisfaction in yourself and what you're doing. So you have to be in control of your own happiness when it comes to content creation instead of just focusing on what the internet or what your views are doing with it.
Right. So cosplaying Hange, obviously, I like feel did so well for you. I mean, do you like feel a special bond with that character now? Like how do
Absolutely.
you
Hange is definitely my comfort character. I can think of content for Hange more than any other character for sure. And I will always make content that's Attack on Titan, but now I just also do other content. Like I always come back to it, but at the end of the day, like I focus on other animes, and it did feel very rewarding that I started going viral for other content too. If it was other cosplays or even out of cosplay content, that was a very rewarding moment for me, because there was a second there that I was like, Attack on Titan's gonna end and then I'm just gonna be over and no one's gonna care, and like where's the longevity? So it was really nice to finally get into a place where it's like, I will always have that, but now I can do other things too, and people responded the way I was hoping to get a response of. But yeah, that's Attack on Titan will forever and always be like my top anime, and just like, because it was a part of me. Like it started everything. I would not be here or doing anything that I do if it wasn't for that show and that cosplay.
Right. Is Attack on Titan your favorite anime, would you say?
I think so. It's like one of my favorite pieces of cinema, not just anime.
Yeah.
It's just so well written, and really good storytelling, foreshadowing. It has a lot of live action aspects to it and storytelling that I really appreciate. So I would say it's just one of my favorites.
So it's crazy to me that your first anime ever was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Yeah. I feel like you dove right into the deep end.
Yes.
And then Attack on Titan. Do you have like, well, what would you say is like your top 5 animes that you
I would
love?
say Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is forever and always going to be in my top. Like may not be my number one, but will forever always be up there, because I think it's just really well done and like a finished story.
Agree.
And then, of course, Attack on Titan. And I actually love Evangelion.
Really?
And all 3 of those are about kids who work for the government and have trauma.
Okay.
So I guess it's just this niche that I'm like, yeah, this is amazing. I don't know. So I love all 3 of those very, very much, I would say. And then I would say Chainsaw Man has the aspect to be in my top 5. Like I'm caught up on the manga right now. But since it's not finished, I have this thing that like, it needs to be finished before it can be in my top, because what if the ending's really bad or takes a right turn where suddenly we hate it.
Right.
So I'm really worried about that. But I love Chainsaw Man a lot. And what else would there be? Probably Jujutsu Kaisen. I really love that as well.
I really love Jujutsu Kaisen as well.
Yeah.
I am curious. So then you created a whole new job for yourself during the pandemic. Yeah, now you're a content creator as well. Things open back up again and you start doing movies again. How are you juggling both of those things? And also, like, what are the pros and cons of both?
Loaded question.
Lots of question in there, yeah.
Thankfully, with film, it depends on like what I'm doing at the time. So, when I first started going viral, I was doing Legacies, which is the Vampire Diaries spinoff. And I would have like anywhere from a day to a week and a half per episode. And it was completely random. So if I only worked one day that week, then I have, 6 other days I can be making content. Right. Vice versa, I work for a week and a half straight, then I'm just not making content at that time. So I'm able to kind of manage each one accordingly. And, like the strike happened. Right. And for that, it was at like 6 to 9 months of no work. And for that, I was like, okay, well, I have to full-time content create and just focus on this, like focus on numbers and make this like something financially feasible for me. So then I started streaming and went more deep dived into that. So I love that I'm able to kind of do both at the same time. And I would say the biggest pro of this is that when it comes to stunts, I don't have to say yes to every single job. If I feel uncomfortable with the stunt, or maybe I don't love the team doing it or something like that, I can say no because of content creation. And so it's made my life a little bit more manageable instead of saying yes to every single job. And on the content creation side, it's made it that I don't have to say yes to every single brand deal. So I get to be very picky and choosy with my brand deals and focus on ones that I think are worth my audience seeing and I think correlate well with my content as well as my followers. So like I don't have to do, you know, like a skinny tea brand deal unless I wanted to, unless I like, you know, fully backed it.
Yeah.
And I can be like, oh, this video game wants to do a brand deal with me. Hell yeah, like I want to do this. Like, I love this game or something. So it's made it that the brand deals I take are more aligned with what I want to do. So I get to be picky on both sides.
Right.
So I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah. The freedom to do what you want.
But I would say on the negative side on both sides is I have a lot of phone calls now. Like when I full-time did stunts, it'd be like, hey, are you available this day for this job? And I would say yes. But now I get a lot of phone calls that are like, are you still doing stunts? And I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, because they just see the content on social media.
And they think you like transitioned out of it.
Yeah.
I see.
So sometimes that happens to me. I've gotten a few calls like that where I'm like, just of course, like, what are you talking about? And kind of like makes me nervous. And then on content creation side, I never fully feel like I have enough time for it. Like you always could be doing something. You could be doing a podcast. You could be doing long form YouTube. You could be streaming more. So I always feel behind. Like I'm not doing everything I should be doing as a creator.
Yeah, that hits me deep.
Yeah.
I feel that. I feel that a lot.
So then you're just like burned out on both sides, which sucks.
Yeah, it is such a cool thing to be your own boss and make your own schedule and do your own thing. But the guilt of not using every possible waking moment to better something in some aspect can be crushing if like you don't pay attention.
For sure.
It can be rough.
I like the balance too, like when you work in film, you're doing like 12 to 14-hour days. So it's very taxing, like mentally and emotionally, but also very physically, especially doing stunts. Like you'll do a crazy fight scene and then the next day you're all sore and then you'll have to do like a crazy wire gag and you're like, okay, I feel like I just went through like a car crash or something of crazy whiplash, and then the next day you have something. So to do that constantly is like very taxing on your body. So it's really nice to then go to content creation where you make your own hours and like, I'm going to wake up at noon, I'm going to stream at 7, I'm going to do this, make videos at 2 a.m. if I want to, and you kind of like make your own schedule.
No rules. Yeah.
So I kind of like that balance. I'm not constantly doing, 12-hour, 14-hour days or constantly, doing this other schedule. It's nice to have that balance. I feel really refreshed for both.
Right. I love that. I agree. I found, now that I was just telling you, doing a little bit of voice acting stuff, I find it to be very similar to what you're saying in that, like, one thing, since you're not doing the same thing over and over again, the burnout doesn't feel so aggressive. You kind of like flip-flop between the two, and then you're excited to go back to the other one, and that excitement sort of like keeps kicking for both things. Yeah. As opposed to like really going down the rabbit hole for one and then getting stressed.
Absolutely. And that's really cool that like you can go voice act and like do something really cool, and then you're like, oh, my throat kind of hurts, and let that recover while I con crunch for 13 hours and make this amazing cosplay. So I really love that for you. I'm like so excited to see everything you do.
Yeah, I'm so excited. There's a game coming out this year that I'm in, and I'm really excited about it. So I'll tell you about it later. But the multifacetedness of it all, I feel like you are hitting so many different things. But I also noticed in one of the interviews that you are also producing. Yes. So you're doing stunt work, you're doing content creation, and then you're also producing. Yes. And I saw that you were working on a short film. Can you talk a little bit about like that world and
so
what that is?
It kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, that when you do stunts, you have to know every single department a little bit. You need to know how to shoot something, how to edit something, how to perform in it, in front of camera, behind camera. So I want to be able to do that even more, but as a producer, like want to be able to produce, like find the locations, like break down a script and break down, your shooting schedule and stuff like that. So during the pandemic, I also took a producing class because I wanted to learn more about it. And after doing that, I was like, okay, well, maybe I should dip my toes into this. So after the pandemic, I did a short film that I produced, and it had a 40-person crew, which was amazing. We had multiple producers, and I was fully like concepted. It was this concept of a gravedigger who works at a graveyard, and he has the ability to give you a 50-50 shot for your loved ones to come back. And that's all I'll say about it. And it was the first 30 pages of an entire written out script. So we shot the first 30 minutes of it and wanted to send it out to the film festival and kind of make it like a proof of concept. So it was my first time really deep diving into producing. And so I had to like break down the script, find locations, make a shoot schedule, find actors, locations, like department heads for everything. And it was an amazing experience. It happened during the pandemic when the Delta virus of COVID came out.
Oh gosh.
So we almost got shut down for like COVID regulations, but we were able to like work through, like called the COVID team. You have like a COVID officer come and stuff like that. And we're like, hello, like what can we do? And we had to test everybody every day, wear masks and stuff like that. But it was just really cool to have these 30 pages, and we shot for 5.5 or 6 days and were able to shoot everything. And it wasn't as focused on action. I think everybody expected from a stunt woman that would be like action packed. And I really wanted to show my capability of being able to be a storyteller as well too. And so we shot it, edited it, put it through the film circuit, and we actually went to Kevin Smith's film festival and won Best Horror Film, which was really cool.
No way!
Yeah, it was like really
so
awesome.
Cool.
Because it's like not really horror. I would say it's like more like as scary as something like Stranger Things would be. Like it's not like super scary. It just has like scary aspects to it. And my long-term goals, because like we're content creators, I'm a stunt performer. The longevity of both of those jobs is so small. Right? So what's the end game? What's the end goal?
Yes. Feeling very similarly about cosplay, by the way.
Absolutely. You get to a certain place where you're like, what do we do after this?
Yeah.
So I really just hope to one day have enough notoriety in all the things I do to be able to produce and have some of my ideas or concepts come to life and be taken seriously enough that I know how to do all these things in so many different ways, and the connections to that I can one day be a showrunner, produce, and also be a part of creating like live action anime that's good, or like other, concepts if it's comic books or a video game I'm into. Like I would love to have a fan behind these things make it.
Yes.
Because you really truly feel it when you watch something if the person who made it or the team behind it is a fan of it as well too.
Absolutely.
You really do. So I want to be a part of that for the future.
Yeah.
So that's my end game.
Many franchises could have used
yes.
the hand. Yeah.
Constantly. Many, but also I feel like we're really in this cool part where we're starting to see some of them do it well.
Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely. So, yeah.
Like the live action One Piece made by fans, for fans, and you're like, oh my God, like how do you make something that's 1,000 episodes that's going to be good? And they did it.
They did.
They really did.
Yeah,
and same with like Arcane, Cyberpunk Edge Runners, all amazing things that suddenly Last of Us. Oh my God, Fallout.
Yeah.
Really, all of them are starting to hit a place where it's really good, but I just find other productions or other companies, they're like, oh, you like this thing? Well, we can profit off of it and don't really care about what it is or if it's for the fans.
Yeah.
So I really want to change that for the future, make really good action or really good storytelling for our favorite fandoms.
Yeah, that's amazing. So I'm excited. On behalf of all of us, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's why I started doing film and in general I was a huge fan of so many fandoms and wanted to be a part of it. So to take that to the anime side or video game side of things would be an ultimate dream.
Would you ever want to act in things, or do you get a lot of fulfillment out of production or writing, or I explain it to me because I don't know all of the different aspects of
I think if the job fit right, then yes. I do have an acting background, and I've done a few acting things as well too. So I would love to, but it has to be the right thing. I think just inserting yourself in the main role when it doesn't fit doesn't feel right. But to be a cameo or a side character that you fit really well, I would absolutely be interested in. And of course, if there's a live action Attack on Titan, you need to call me. You need to at least audition me, please. It's not just me saying it. I get 20 comments a day on all of my social media content being like, live action Hange, you need to audition for her. You need to be her. Yeah. So give me the opportunity. Let me prove myself if you need me to. But holy shit, please Give me a shot.
Totally. And I find, because I love Attack on Titan as well, I feel like you embody her mannerisms so well in some of the video. I mean, on all the videos, but I can tell why you get comments like that all the time.
Yeah, it's really hit this spot that's like very wholesome to me of so many, or like, you know, when I do my meet and greets or I meet followers and fans that they come up to me and they're like, when I watch Attack on Titan, I think Hange's you. Like, I don't see a different character, it's just you to me. And that has hit a level that I could never feasibly imagine. Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
But I do it with other people who also cosplay as well too. I'll be like, that kind of reminds me of that person a lot. So to just get the opportunity would be pretty cool and amazing, and I just want to prove that I can.
Right. Well, we're manifesting.
And I believe in that too. Like, work towards your goals, and you know, opportunities will arise.
Right. I think that you've proven that for sure in many aspects of your career. Well, are there any like upcoming projects that you're working on that you're excited about, or costumes you're making, or cons you're going to, or anything?
I think the hard part about working in film is that I have so many NDAs,
right,
non-disclosure agreements, in which I can't talk about future projects until they come out. But I promise you there's some really big ones coming, and I cannot wait to talk about them in the future here. Make sure to follow my IMDb or go look at it, and you'll be able to see things for the future. But besides that, I mean, I go to all the major cons like Anime Expo, Anime NYC, New York Comic Con, stuff like that. And besides that, you can find me on all my social medias. I'm Juliastunts on everything. I stream, I do YouTube, I do TikTok. So, you know, we'll have to collaborate more and do more things together.
Yeah, I'm in.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's pretty much, you know, between like for stunts, you know, I stunt coordinate and perform stunts as well too, so lots of projects on both of those ends for me. Hopefully get to coordinate bigger things in the future here, and do some bigger cosplays. And it's so fun to be constantly learning and like working on your craft and trying to get better,
right,
or do better than what you have done before. So
right, I completely agree, totally understand. Especially with content creation, I feel like the push to want to be better, do better, expand on things, kind of a constant.
Oh, it's absolutely a constant. But I hope for everybody, including myself, like we don't focus on, you know, what other people are doing. Because I think that's the hard push, is you see someone doing so well, or like someone pushing harder, and you're like, oh, you know, comparing yourself to that. And in reality, like, you can only do better than what you did the day before.
Right. Totally.
So, and find inspiration from other people. And I love that about our community of friends in our mutuals, is I feel like I'm always so inspired by what everybody else is doing, and it like fuels me, or especially in like collaborating. I always love that, because it just fuels me to do so much more. So
yeah, I want you to teach me how to fight.
I want to teach you how to fight.
I've been taking Muay Thai classes like
Shut up, really?
once a week, sometimes twice a week, at the gym with my personal trainer. We do that for like cardio. And so I saw you did Muay Thai. There was a website that I saw you had a profile on, and what made me laugh was you had like so many things listed of all the things that you could do, and at the very bottom it said can do backflip. And the wording of it took me out for some reason. Can do backflip.
It's all you need to know, sir. Hire me.
Right.
We can just train together, you know, like it's dancing, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that's my favorite thing. I think people get really intimidated when they find out I'm a stunt performer. And I'm like, no, I'm the safest person to train with.
Right.
Like, I've been doing this for a decade.
Yeah.
So if we just like, you know, one of my favorite things is to spar, and I'll just do like shot for shot. Like I throw a punch at you really slow and you block it. And then you throw something at me and I try to block it. But then also showing each other, you know, like, hey, you dropped your fist and now there's an opening to your face and I'm going to show you it, but like very lightly, very slow.
Right.
And I'm literally one of the safest people to spar with, because I can pull a punch, or I can be very light and playful. So like just dancing. It's really just dancing. So we should just spar sometime.
I'm in. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah,
I appreciate you. Juliastunts on all platforms.
Yes.
Well, you are amazing.
You are. I'm so inspired
excited
by you constantly. So it's so nice to finally like collaborate and hang out together more. Like you're so good at everything you do, and such a,
That's very nice.
you know, a peer in our community, and just, you're amazing. You're an amazing pillar. So
thank you.
I cannot wait to see what you do next.
I feel the same way about you. So thank you for coming.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
I'm just excited to see you succeed on so many other things too, like voice acting. Like, yes, I'm like, everybody have multiple things you're doing constantly.
Yes.
Podcast.
Yes, totally. I completely understand that part of everything that you were saying. Just having so many different avenues relieves so much pressure.
Yes.
And it makes everything fun.
It does.
Instead of all of the like weight of doing everything.
Yeah. I feel that way, especially like on set. I will come in more bubbly now. And I think people appreciate that more, especially like the last production I was on. Everybody was exhausted. It was like an insanely long shoot of just night shoots. But then I would come in because I don't work that often on the production. But they'd be like, oh my God, it's Julie. And I'm like, hi, everybody. I'm so excited to see you. What have you been doing? Oh, that's crazy. What did you do this weekend? And like suddenly had so much more energy instead of being like, hi, what are we doing? Like
another day.
Yeah. And I feel that energy come into content creation too. So
totally.
I hope you get that as well in everything you do.
Yeah, it's happening already. So yay. Well, to transition into Patreon, I have a question that I was curious about, because you obviously create friendships with other people in the stunt community.
Yeah.
And you are essentially fighting them sometimes. Yeah. Have you ever had to like play hurt somebody that you love, or vice versa? Like, how does the dynamic of that work?